Hello, I'm Terry David Mulligan. This is Mulligan Stew, the podcast, music, film, food, and wine. Normally, we introduce a new podcast usually every Friday. By the end of the week, we're usually ready to go. However, this podcast is about an event that's happening this weekend, the 14th, 15th, 16th of July in Comox. It's the Vancouver Island Music Festival. And its artistic director is Doug Cox, who we're going to talk to. Doug Cox is not just the artistic director. He has his own music career and travels many of the same roads as the artists that he books. And because he's friends with them, because he knows them, and he sees them throughout the year, he has an incredible lineup for these 3 days. He'll be talking about the Friday night lineup, which includes Irish Mython, the Dust Bowl Revival from LA, the Step Crew, and Walk Off the Earth. Saturday will include Passenger and the one and only Ry Cooder and his son Joachim. And then Sunday night's lineup includes Three Women in the Truth, Arlo Guthrie, the Brothers Landreth. Here's a conversation with the artistic director of the annual Vancouver Island Music Festival, Doug Cox. We find ourselves in downtown Comox, my friends. And Doug Cox, I've got him, I actually probably did him a favor. I got you out of the office for a couple of minutes. How are things going with the Vancouver Island Folk Festival?
Things are great, Terry. Thank you. It is nice to be out of the office. Absolutely.
The phone keeps ringing. The emails keep coming in. So it approaches quickly, as you always warn everybody that it will. Let's just go back and do you have a wish list about things that you want to accomplish with the next festival, like last year when you wrapped up? Or do you move forward and look for artists who inspire you?
I look for artists who inspire me. I mean, there's a few people that are always on my wish list for sure, my bucket list. Ry Cooder was certainly one of those people this year. Yeah. But they're getting harder and harder to realize after 22 years of booking the festival, either because they're dead or because they're just, some of them are unreachable. You know, that people on my wish list would be like Stevie Wonder, for example. I would love to just give a whole night to Stevie Wonder one of these years. It's not going to happen, you know. Jeff Beck. I'd love to have Jeff play the festival. So there's that kind of wish list that's there all the time. And then I hear new acts throughout the year as I'm going to music conferences or just listening to music that I kind of add on to next year's list.
Because you are a musician and you know that experience, you hear different things than we might in your choices. How does it affect those choices?
Well, hopefully in a really informed, positive way. I mean, I always said that I only want to book the music that thrills me for our festival. And as I get older, we tend to, as baby boomers, tend to refer back to, you hear a band that excites you, but you kind of go, they remind me of this. And you want to find new bands that excite you as much as the source excited you, right? So as a musician, I do listen that way, and I also listen for bands that might work really well together in our jam sessions and that kind of thing. So I hope that gives me a step up as an artistic director, and that I'm booking from that place all the time.
You also need people who want to play.
Absolutely.
Who don't have to be dragged kicking and screaming.
Yeah, absolutely. And people that understand what they're walking into with the festival. I was reading a Facebook conversation yesterday with some people talking about folk festivals in particular, and one musician posted about how much she hates folk festivals because she says she plays 4 sets for as much as she'd usually get paid for one, and she gets to sleep in a tent and have no privacy for the whole weekend. So that's kind of one perspective.
Okay,
you know?
You can't do too much about that. How are tickets going, and when do you actually open shop?
Tickets are going well. The festival actually starts at 3:30 on Friday, Friday the 13th, and we're approaching a sellout. But I hate to use those words because then the rumor starts to spread that we're sold out. We're not sold out, and there are still tickets available, but it's going really well.
And you have Walk Off the Earth on that Friday the 13th?
Yes, we do. Walk Off the Earth is closing on Friday. So that's going to be exciting. They've got apparently a much bigger show than they had last time. And last time they had a big show.
Yeah. By the way, there is an app.
Yes. If you go to the App Store and just look for Vancouver Island Music Fest, you'll find our app, and you can plan your own schedule, and you can listen to all kinds of samples from all the musicians that are playing, and find your tickets and everything else there.
All right, I printed up at vast expense the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday lineups for the concert bowl. Okay, just the concert bowl. Tell me about the Friday lineup at the concert bowl.
Okay, well, Congero is a cappella band that consists of 4 women from Sweden, and they do a lot of really cool vocal stuff that verges on sort of the vocal overtones of Tuvan throat singers versus Swedish folk music. Rob Ikes and Trey Hensley. Rob Ikes is the 10-time Dobro Player of the Year award winner.
Your kind of guy.
Yeah, from the IBMA. So he's kind of the guy that took over for Jerry Douglas when Jerry got tired of doing session work in Nashville. 2 of the hottest players in the bluegrass scene. Irish Mython is a wonderful singer-songwriter from Prince Edward Island. She's quite a topical singer-songwriter, and she could be a stand-up comedian if she wanted to. So she's been taking the festivals.
And Dust Bowl Revival, I know her from LA.
Yeah, and they're a hard band to describe. I mean, I kind of think of them as a jug band meets a New Orleans swing band.
Yeah, it's early.
Yeah. The Step Crew is kind of like a river dance kind of show that features a bunch of Canadian step dancers, a really hot band, and a beautiful Gaelic singer named Maeve McKinnon, who made her first Canadian appearance at our festival years ago. She's from Scotland. And then the Closers Walk Off the Earth for Friday night.
Okay, and on to Saturday with Doug Cox, the artistic director of the Vancouver Island Music Festival. This is next weekend. This is Saturday, Friday the 13th, Saturday the 14th, Sunday the 15th. Saturday night, the concert bowl lineup.
Yeah, Darling Side, who were at the festival 2 years ago and kind of took the festival by storm. They're 4 young, hot guys who have this beautiful ethereal sound with strong harmonies, and they're kind of like modern old time, but very modern music. Noria Machi is a South Korean orchestra that are touring thanks to the South Korean government, and it's a great big drum show that goes down to very small traditional Korean instruments as well. Passenger, Passenger, if you know the song Let Her Go. People always go, I don't know Passenger, and you play the first 2 bars of that song and they know it. Ry Cooder is God.
Is it possible to describe the career path that he's taken? Because when I first signed on Rock on FM radio, I played that Taj Mahal album, and he was the rhythm guitarist.
Right,
and Jesse Ed Davis was doing the licks. That's how far back we go.
There isn't a style of roots music that he hasn't touched. Most electric slide guitar players would name him as their main influence. I mean, the guy at one point was asked to join the Rolling Stones. Some people think that, or say that he wrote the lick to Honky Tonk Woman. He also wrote with Graham Parsons. I mean, he's touched every style of music, and he's my favorite guitar player in the whole world. So,
and tell me about his band.
His band consists of his son Joachim Cooder. He's got a new group of singers, Baptist gospel sound, called the Hamiltones. They're certainly not new to the world, but they're new to him. I know there's a piano player coming, but I haven't heard who yet.
And Joachim is also doing his own set?
Yes, Joachim will be doing a short set on Saturday afternoon as well, and that'll be a wonderful thing. And then closing the show is Shakira Sayada, who's a beautiful blues and rhythm and blues singer, who's played the festival before as well. If she was living in America, she'd probably be really famous, but she lives in Canada. Mm-hmm. And joining her as a special guest is one of the Campbell brothers from the Sacred Steel family, Chuck Campbell, who's kind of the oldest brother. And if you're into Sacred Steel slide guitar, he's one of the fathers of that, too.
It would make a perfect Saturday night. Now, on to Sunday, the concert bowl lineup.
The Atlantic String Machine is a string quartet from Prince Edward Island. We had our first classical music at the festival last year with Lucia Maccarelli, and it went so well that we decided to try some more this year, so they're coming. 3 Women and the Truth is 3 of the hottest Texas-style singer-songwriters, Eliza Gilkison, Mary Gaucher, and Gretchen Peters, all joining forces. And Eliza's been a star at our festival numerous times, so it's the first time we've had Mary and Gretchen.
Do they do their own songs? Yes. Support each other?
Yeah, they'll do their own songs and they'll support each other as well. So I'm looking forward to that show.
Do you think Mary Gauthier would take a request and do drag queens and limousines?
I bet she would. I bet she would.
Would she also do Mercy?
Yeah, I think she would.
Oh my goodness, that is fantastic.
Drink. That's the song by her that I like. Then we've got Arlo Guthrie, and Arlo's coming with his son and his daughter. He's doing a family show, so I'm really excited about that. He's also doing a tribute to his dad during the daytime on Sunday with David Amram and Josh White Jr., who both actually knew his dad, and with Three Women and the Truth. My favorite Canadian band, Bros Landreth, are going to be following Arlo Guthrie, and they're like Canada's version of Little Feat.
They're an incredible band.
They're one of the best bands in the world.
And Joey has his own solo career.
Absolutely, yeah. So they're following, and then closing the festival is Esco, Levi, and High Priest. And Esco is one of the modern kind of kings of reggae music. He's featuring a band of players from Toronto and Montreal that are some of the best Jamaican musicians.
Doug Cox, listen, I want to just throw out a couple of names and I'll let you go. And they jumped out at me. Martin Simpson.
Yeah, Martin Simpson is another god. Celtic guitar player who's managed to mix Celtic music with old time and sort of new agey guitar. He's one of the very best.
I really like Matt Epp.
Yeah, Matt's one of the finest songwriters too. He now lives in Owen Sound, Ontario. One of Canada's finest young songwriters too.
The four women from Alberta, Nice Horse.
Nice Horse, yeah. I can't wait to see how they go over. I don't know if they've played a folk festival before, and they're a funny band because they're four very beautiful young women. And when I saw them play, I was with some women that book festivals that really didn't like them. And it was kind of like reverse sexism. I thought, you guys don't like this band because they're like, just listen to them. They sound like the Dixie Chicks. I mean, they're really good, you know. So I came home and I took it to my three daughters. Said, I want you guys to listen to this band and tell me if I'm being an old creep or if they're actually really good. And they all said, book them immediately. We love them. So I can't wait to see them come and take over the festival.
There's always a story when you talk about Terry Harmonica Bean from Mississippi.
Last year we had Jimmy Duck Holmes, who is the oldest speakeasy owner in Mississippi Delta, and Jimmy Duck Holmes is bringing Terry Bean harmonica this year for us. We're gonna rely on him to send us somebody from Mississippi every year because he's totally connected to that scene, and these guys don't get outside of the Delta. So he's the real deal. He's a real blues man.
How's David Lindy doing?
I just heard recently that he's had to cancel a few other gigs because of his tinnitus. So. I haven't heard directly, but I hear he's not doing that well, sadly.
Okay. Tricontinental.
Yeah, I mean, these guys were all the rage at the festivals a few years ago. They're three of my favorite Canadian players, and they're lovely. I just spent the weekend with them last weekend at North Country Fair up in northern Alberta, and they sound as good as they always have. So.
And finally, Coco Love Alcorn, thank you for booking her.
Oh, thank you. She's wonderful. She's one of the most festival-friendly people I've met.
Doug Cox, what's your website?
islandmusicfest.com.
And the app is the same?
Yeah, just go to your app store and you'll find it there.
You open for business Friday the 13th. You close Sunday the 15th. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. We'll see you there.
Doug Cox, Artistic Director. First time he's sat still in quite some time. This is Mulligan Stew, the podcast. Thank you for listening. And for your information, the festival takes place July 13, 14, and 15 in the Comox Valley, Vancouver Island. And the website is islandmusicfest.com. Thank you for listening to Mulligan Stew, the podcast. Next up, Valerie June. Take a moment to subscribe, will you? We appreciate it.